Could India be falling into Trump's trap? A deadly deal hidden behind cheap goods? Imagine this. You wake up one morning, open your newspaper with your tea, and the first headline reads, "India and the U.S. are on the verge of a major trade agreement." You think, wow, that's big news. But wait a second. Just think. What if behind this deal lies a trap so cleverly woven that once caught, India would end up making a massive compromise at the cost of its small farmers, dairy industry, and local businesses? The hints dropped by U.S. President Donald Trump may sound purely businesslike, but their impact could reach deep into the roots of India's economy. And if India shows even the slightest haste or carelessness, this so-called deal could turn into an agreement whose price may be paid for generations to come. Today, we'll dive deep into this very topic. But before we begin, if you're new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an update on our latest videos. So, let's begin today's discussion without any further delay. In reality, this isn't just a story about trade. It's a story of power, strategy, and a nation willing to go to any extent to protect its interests. U.S. President Donald Trump recently stirred the waters by stating that the trade agreement with India could follow the same model as the one made with Indonesia. While that may sound ordinary at first, the truth behind it is quite shocking. Indonesia gave the U.S. full access to its market, no restrictions, no tariffs. In other words, American goods could flood the Indonesian market without any hindrance. In return, the U.S. imposed heavy tariffs, around 19% on Indonesian products. Not just that, Indonesia also committed to purchasing $15 billion worth of energy, $4.5 billion in agricultural products, and 50 Boeing jets from the U.S. Now just imagine, what if this same formula were applied to India? India, which still depends heavily on its millions of small farmers, dairy producers, and domestic enterprises, would it be able to withstand such a burden? Take a close look at Trump's statement. He said that, through tariffs, the U.S. is now gaining access to the Indian market, something it didn't have before. This is a clear signal that the U.S. wants India to open its market, unconditionally, for American goods. And it doesn't stop there. Trump's statement isn't just about business, it's deeply strategic. He is deliberately applying pressure on India to shape this trade agreement to suit American interests. Now let's talk about the ground reality. Negotiations between India and the United States are ongoing. A delegation from India's Ministry of Commerce is currently in Washington, this being their 5th visit, which clearly indicates that the talks have entered a very serious and sensitive phase. Meanwhile, the U.S. has postponed additional tariffs on several countries until August 1, a sort of carrot being dangled, perhaps to encourage India to show flexibility in the discussions. Here's where another major concern emerges, raised by the think tank Global Trade Research Initiative, GTRI. This organization has warned that if India agrees to Trump's Indonesia model, it could cripple the country's agriculture and dairy sectors. Why? Because American goods would enter Indian markets easily without tariffs. While Indian goods, already expensive in the U.S., may still face high taxes, with no guarantee of those being lifted. Now think, when American milk, butter, corn, alcohol, and other products flood Indian markets, how will our small farmers and local businesses compete? Indian money would flow into the pockets of foreign companies, delivering a heavy blow to our economy. The saddest part? The demand for Indian-made products would fall, prices would crash, and a wave of unemployment could once again loom over the country. 𝐟𝐨𝐥𝐿, the founder of GTRI, made a very important point. If India rushes into a deal without transparency and mutual benefit, the consequences will be extremely dangerous. This is a time for caution. India must prioritize its own needs and the interests of its people, rather than bending solely to satisfy the United States. Several issues still remain unresolved between India and the United States. The U.S. wants India to reduce tariffs on its dairy and agricultural products, but India has never granted such exemptions to any country, and this time, too, the government is maintaining a firm stance. On the other hand, India is urging the U.S. to remove the steep tariffs imposed on steel, aluminum, and automotives. India has even stated that, if necessary, it reserves the right to impose retaliatory tariffs under WTO rules. But this isn't just about taxes. It's about the livelihoods of millions who depend on these sectors. The U.S. seeks tariff relief for electric vehicles, alcohol, dairy, petrochemicals, and industrial goods. Meanwhile, India wants concessions on textiles, jewelry, leather, plastics, shrimp, grapes, and bananas, products that directly impact the lives of millions across the country. If India agrees to America's demands while overlooking these critical sectors, it could deeply damage the Indian economy. These are the very sectors that have the potential to transform India by boosting exports, creating employment, and empowering the economy from villages to cities. Currently, both countries are aiming to complete the first phase of the trade agreement by September-October. A small, interim deal may come first, followed by a larger agreement. But this is precisely the moment when India must remain the most cautious and strategic. We must remember that, when dealing with a major global power, every word, every paragraph, and every clause of an agreement can shape a nation's future. This isn't just about trade, it's a test of India's self-reliance model. India is currently moving forward with visions like Make in India, Vocal for Local, and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Any step that undermines these initiatives would not be right for the country's future, because if domestic production is harmed, self-reliance will remain just a dream. Today, India must trade with the U.S., but on equal terms, without pressure, without haste. India must think about its people, its farmers, its businesses, and its future.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls, and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.